Hello, weird, awkward, right? No apologies. Customer service professionals only apologize when they have done something wrong. Bet you we could save time if we train people better. Hi, it's Kelly Donahue Piro here, and we're going to talk today about some of the 12 customer service strategies that we see that are important in the insurance space. I'm going to run through those at the end of this little podcast, but I want to start today's podcast with something that I think we all need to embrace, which is why is training customer service reps so hard? And I say this as a trainer of customer service reps and salespeople and all insurance professionals. I think that training is something that is not well embraced inside of agencies, both by leadership and then secondarily by staff. I have a joke when I come into agencies. I'm like, how many of you were excited to be in training all day? And everyone says no. And then lo and behold, they warm up after a little bit because we're kind of cool when we train agencies, just my own 2 cents. So, if training customer service professionals on your team has been a challenge, I want to help fix that for you. We are about to launch our customer service course, how to give wow customer service. This is foundational training that everybody can benefit from. We're going to go through our 12 philosophies of customer service. We're going to go ahead and go through our 10 strategies and break them down. And this is kind of just cementing a great foundation for any customer service professional. So sometimes your team makes you kind of cringe when you hear them on the phone. I'd say this might be the investment that you need to make. And you can do that either by buying the course, you can go into our school, you get all of our courses, or we're offering virtual training and in person training on this. So check it out. Some specials for the first few clients that sign up for this new course. But let's talk about why is training so hard? Well, training needs to be interactive. How many of you have tried to train your team and it's like crickets chirping and nothing important? And what happens is we get frustrated because we don't feel like training is working. So when training is not interactive, you can bet your bottom dollar you're not having fun, they're not having fun. They really probably didn't grasp everything that you were trying to give them. Inevitably, and still to this day, one of our top blogs is how to role play in insurance agencies. Now, I'm hoping that there's not like a little weird sect of people out there that are insurance agent role players or people who like to role play in maybe more of an adult manner, be an insurance agent. We happen to get caught in that. I'm hoping that's not the case, but inevitably, we know role playing works. We also know role playing is very uncomfortable. We also know that uncomfortable things are probably the thing we need to do. So I highly recommend that you either have case studies. Case studies are another way of role playing, just makes you want to throw up yourself. Have sort of an organized, like, this is the scenario and start talking about it. Sometimes you could do like an autopsy of a service blunder you had this week or a service success. You could dissect recorded phone calls, or you could just bite the bullet and role play. And I can't tell you how much pushback we get on role playing. I think it's because people are like, oh, it's not a real scenario. And lo and behold, even my own team gives me pushback. And then literally a week or two later, that scenario comes up. And I was like, see, told ya, told ya. But a lot of nerves are around role playing. So I say, like, it's if it doesn't feel good the first couple times, it's probably working. You're probably close to being a breakthrough and everybody like being okay with it. So don't give up. Role playing is a huge tool. Next is training absolutely needs to be consistent. I find that agencies scramble with training or we get the 911 call. Can you come to my office next week? I'm like, no. What's up? This, and this, and this. And we found an E&O issue, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, where's the training been all along? Oh, we've been B word. I don't like to use that word. We've been productive, but usually the agencies calling me for 911 training are a little bit more B wordish. Just busy for those of you who don't listen all that often. Training is like showering. We need to do it routinely to make it work. And a lot of agencies only do training when there's a problem, and that makes training a punishment, not something that everyone should embrace. Take a moment on your team meetings and have 15 minutes of training. Use a YouTube video. Geez, we have hundreds of YouTube videos on our site, blogs, etc. Just go ahead and pick anything just to feed your brain. It's kind of like reading. I always say that the best salespeople read sales books every week, and yet the worst salespeople don't think they need to. Hello, weird, awkward, right? I think that it's important to establish a culture where you are going to consistently involve the team in training, even on good days, bad days, hard days, short staff days. Training has to become like showering, brushing your teeth. We do it every day, no matter what. Except there never seems to be time for training. There never seems to be time for training. There never seems to be time to work on the business. There never seems to be time to cross sell. I hear you. But we have to also look and say, well, what are we spending our time on that's more important than making sure our team that is managing millions of dollars of agency premium has all the tools and skills? If we're reshopping frivolously, bet you we could save time if we train people better. If we're struggling to grow, bet you we could save time if we did cross sell training or sales training. But I think that either the trainer or the person responsible for trainer feels they don't have time because it's a lot to get all that content together. Trust me, every single one of our courses in our online school or that we deliver to agencies is over 400 slides of content. It is not for the faint of heart to put together training content. And if it's your first time doing it, it takes longer, right? I think that the best thing to do with training is be proactive in your training, not reactive, which many of you know that that's our big mantra is proactive, proactive, proactive. When you're reactively doing things, you're going to suffer. If training's not for you, look to a training company like us. Find ways, go on YouTube. Doesn't have to be perfect every time, but consistency does have to happen and you have to make time for training. You won't ever put your feet up and be like, it's time to train the team. No, you have to make a bigger commitment. It's kind of like working out. You know how many people say, "Oh, I don't have time to work out," but they've got time to watch The Bachelor. I think you have time. It's just not what you want to do. It's not a priority. Training must be a priority for your agency to succeed. And last, we focus training on the wrong things. So a lot of times in agencies, I've seen training be about this carrier update, this coverage, the management system. All that is important. Doesn't help your team on the phone every day. It helps them maybe be more efficient or put the data in the right place for right reports, which if you've ever listened to me before, you know I'm a huge advocate of. But how about the training of how to de-escalate a client? How about the training of here's a cross-sell opportunity, how to explain an umbrella? How about the training of just how to listen or how to give wow customer service, how to ask for a Google review? Little things need training. So we often miss training on the soft skills, which is something I think is a huge benefit. And in addition for the hard skills that you need. So those are my reasons why training is difficult, but I also feel like you can do hard things and we definitely have some other solutions for that. So here's our 12 customer service strategies, which you can check out on our blog. I'm going to give a brief run view of them. We hope that you go check out the blog. We hope that you hear me and Stephen Harrington on our next podcast where we actually go through our favorites in detail. So check that out. But customer service strategy number one, it's the customer service team's role to be a relationship builder. I get so frustrated because I see so many customer service professionals go ahead and do transactions. And we miss the opportunity to say, oh, the dog's barking in the background. What's your dog's name? Or are your kids going back to school? And ultimately, our goal and what we teach in our customer service course is you need to take that information and document it in your management system. So next time they call in, it's like, hey, is Tim still in soccer? I know last time we talked to you, you guys were going to a soccer game. Is he still playing soccer? My kid's still in soccer too. Just little things like that make people feel better about life. They make people feel like you are there for them. So I need everybody to get out of transaction mode. Transaction mode is they take a payment, we take the payment, and that's the end of it. We don't update contact information, build rapport, talk to them about cross sells or EFT. We literally do what they ask. And we are licensed, they are not. Next up is right versus fast. A lot of times, customer service people will say, oh, the client just wants to be off the phone. I'm translating that into you have other piles of work and you want to be off the phone. And we see in so many insurance agencies because the team has not been trained potentially the way that they should have. People are rushing through service transactions and missing things or making bad assumptions. Those bad assumptions come back around to bite us in the butt because we make mistakes. And that's not something that we want to do. Even on a vehicle change, I think there's probably 12 to 15 questions we need to ask. But we ask year, make, model, which one are you swapping? When are you picking it up? Okay, here you go. That's not enough to give wow customer service. So we need to train our customer service reps to pause what they're working on, pick up the call, make this the best call of the caller's day, and then they can go back to the other item. And it's easy to say on podcasts, it's very hard to do in theory. Focus on what the policy is ensuring. That's one of our 3-minute videos for the week. Nobody really cares about the policy, they care about what it's protecting, and we spend a lot of time explaining coverages and what the policy is, not about the blue Mustang it's protecting or about the home or about the business. And I think you really need to spend time thinking about this person spending a lot of money on a policy and what that policy is protecting is generally even worth more than that. Why don't we talk about the thing it is versus what the policy is? So if you talk to my husband about his blue Mustang and all the things that will help his blue Mustang, he's all in. If you start going mumbo jumbo policy language, he's all out. And he's going to say, what's the cheapest? So we forget that we have a lot of influence on that. And I do hear a lot of customer service professionals say, no one wants to spend more money on insurance. And I always think, maybe nobody wants to spend more money on insurance with you. And that means we got to change our tune. The client's entitled to their feelings. Insurance is complicated and frustrating and overwhelming and something that most people don't do every day. We get frustrated with insurance. You need to kind of have an iron stomach when it comes to people who are frustrated. Too many customer service professionals get wrapped up. They're so mean, they're angry, they're grumpy. I didn't do anything wrong. Knock it off. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Clients entitled to their feelings, and we are as customer service professionals that can absolutely spend a little time with them, take that time and organize their thoughts and help them understand. So, just because a caller calls in upset up front does not mean that that's how the call is going to end. In fact, a true customer service professional versus just a rep would absolutely take that challenge on so that the client understood your value and how you're here to help. A customer service representative will just take it, figure it out, and go swear about the guy off the phone. And that's not really what we're trying to be. If you look, I'm really working on using the word customer service professional because it is a profession. It's a great profession. In fact, it's the bulk of the team members in insurance are in service. So we have to stop talking about them as the girls. We have to stop going ahead and making light of things. And instead, we really want to be in a situation where we treat everybody like a professional. And if you, as the agency leadership, treat them like a professional, they will treat your customers professionally. Next up is first impressions matter. Can't tell you how many agencies don't answer the phone very well or differently or transfer people to wrong places. They don't have a good system. Spend some time on how you pick up the phone. It will make a world of difference. One of my favorites, and I know Steven talks about this on our podcast too. If it's not in the management system, it didn't happen. You cannot give wow customer service without good documentation. No client should ever have to repeat themselves. You may not remember. Whoever picks up next to you may not understand what's going on. Documentation empowers you to give great service. Next up, we can't care more about insurance than the client does. I say this all the time, and sometimes people are surprised because they realize that we're going and bending over backwards like Gumby when the client has to take route two. The client has to send in the information. They have to pay their bills. So many times we're over servicing our worst customers and we're under servicing our best customers because we've set that up and we care more about the insurance for our worst customers than they do. Maybe that's because they get a little spicy or heated. But the idea is that we take a deep breath and we say, we have to have boundaries with customers, not over service them so we can service the right ones. Number 8, another one of my all-time favorites. No apologies. Customer service professionals only apologize when they have done something wrong. But so many customer service people let it fly out of their mouth. I'm sorry. Sorry your rate went up. I'm sorry that there's a late payment fee. I'm sorry that I have to quote 2 lines for you. What are we apologizing for? I make enough mistakes. I have to save my I'm sorries for the right times and reasons. Customer service professionals do not apologize unless it's something that they did wrong. But for the natural over under of life, no apologies. Just let's go. I can see why you're frustrated. Let's figure out what we're going to do. Your clients want to see you as an action orientated customer service professional, not someone who's trying to be, I'm so sorry. Like at some point, apologies don't matter. Number 9 is focus on the outcome, not the task. This is the difference between being a transactional service rep or a customer service professional. If you just take a payment and you don't do all the other things like update contact information, talk about EFT, scrub the account, you're just doing a task. I did the task. I want you to think more about the outcome and the fact this is this powerful interaction with the client, and we have some opportunity to make that work. Raise your hand. I don't know what happened, but the OGs, the original gangsters in insurance, the 20-year-old plus club struggles with raising your hand. I literally had someone say to me the other day, I'm all cut up. Won't management think I'm not working hard? It's like, no, exact opposite saying. I want everybody caught up to go home happy and healthy. But we have to make insurance a team sport. So a lot of people say, oh, we work like a great team. Not unless you're passing client load along, not unless you're load balancing work. You don't pick how much work comes into you every day. And the biggest key is if you hear that's not my client or my clients only want to talk to, you have a breakdown in teamwork and people aren't going to raise their hand. 11, the NANA principle, which is don't talk insurance lingo to non-insurance people. So talk about insurance like you would your Nana. If you talk about insurance like you would your Nana, watch, people will understand it. So if you're trying to explain a claim or umbrella policy to your Nana, probably wouldn't use the same terms as you're discussing to clients. Nana principle it all day long. And last but not least, and I just did a video on this, but everybody's job is agency growth, service, sales, everybody. We have to break down that whole sales isn't my job. I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to do sales. Then you better be into agency growth. And growth is retention, growth is cross selling, and growth is increasing coverage and making sure policies are done right. We all need to contribute to ways to grow businesses. Otherwise, what are you doing? Do you want to work for a shrinking company? I don't think so. It's also abdicating a whole lot of responsibility to different people. And I think in order to have a fully thriving and effective agency, This is a key strategy. So that is my scoop. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you invest in the WOW customer service training because it's foundational. It's 101 for everybody. And a lot of agencies out there have new teams with kind of the pandemic and just inviting new people in this industry. So consider it. We would love to work with your team and help them give WOW customer service. We'll see you soon.